Hello and welcome to the World Tour Conversation brought to you by SolarWinds. And today we have in the studio Mr. Eric Bauer.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here again with you.
I have a very interesting question for you. There are 3 doors. Behind first door there is a customer sitting. Behind the second one there is a partner sitting. And behind the third door there is a distributor. Which door do you open the first?
That's a really tough question. And I always love when you ask the hard questions. SW1 is the next iteration of our agentic AI capabilities. It's really started to progress from what you can ask it to it being able to operate on your behalf. We call them GOATs, Goal-Oriented Agentic Technology.
The only quotes I am aware of are Virat Kohli, Michael Phelps, Magic Johnson.
SW1 is going to be on that list.
The human side of autonomous IT. You've been married to this report for almost a year now. What's special about this report?
The uniqueness of this report is
Hello and welcome to the World Tour Conversation brought to you by SolarWinds. And today we have in the studio the man of the moment, Mr. Eric Bauer.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here again with you.
Eric, thank you so much for inviting us over here for the second conversation.
Of course.
And our first with SolarWinds. So, first question, what do you do in SolarWinds?
It's a good question, right? And one that I often ask myself. So I run our global solution engineering organization, as well as our internal and partner enablement aspects. So I get to work with customers, I get to work with partners, and I get to work with our internal teams on how we're bringing the latest capabilities into the market and helping our customers and prospects.
I have a very interesting question for you. There are 3 doors. Behind first door, there is a customer sitting. Mm-hmm. Behind the second one, there's a partner sitting. Mm-hmm. And behind the third door, there is a distributor. Which door do you open the first?
That's a really tough question. And I always love when you ask the hard questions. I think each of them has a very important aspect that needs to be understood. I start with the customer. Yeah. Understand where the real pain is. But we can't service our customers without talking to our partners and our distributors who make it happen. So I would absolutely start with the customers, and then I'd probably have the reseller or the partner and the distributor in the same room together, so I'd open up at the same time.
Wow, such a fantastic answer. Have the distributor and the partner in the same room.
Absolutely. Yep. Get them on the same page, and then we can go and better service our customers together.
Wow. This year, everybody is talking about SolarWinds 1. What's special about SolarWinds 1?
Yeah. SW1 is the next iteration of our agentic AI capabilities that we talked about back in December. And I think the most important thing about this is how we really think about moving from just operational resilience to autonomous operational resilience, which can be scary for some people, but we always focus on the human in the loop aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So it can be as autonomous as you want. Think about it as you're driving an autonomous vehicle. Yeah. You can always grab the wheel. Same thing with SW1. But it's really started to progress from what you can ask it to it being able to operate on your behalf. We call them GOATs, or the industry calls them GOATs, or Goal-Oriented Agentic Technology. And the latest iterations of SW1 allow you to set outcomes that you want. Let's say we want to reduce alert noise. And in the background, we have an agent fleet that goes off and make sure that we're constantly looking at how to reduce noise and then saying, we've identified these things. Do you want to take the next step? You say yes, and it does it on your behalf. So a lot of progress really in just the last couple of months.
The only quotes I am aware of are Virat Kohli, Michael Phelps, Magic Johnson.
SW1 is going to be on that list.
Okay. You are meeting me at the SolarWinds World Tour. Mm-hmm. What's special about the World Tour?
You know, one of the things that I like the most about the World Tour is it allows us to get in front of our customers and our partners on their home turf, essentially, right? So they don't have to travel as far. We put in the effort to travel, but it allows for great conversation. It allows us to experience local culture and us to kind of bring, you know, everything that's great about SolarWinds right to them. And so it's a really, really great experience that we all get to partake in.
And how many places are you covering for the World Tour?
Oh man, this year I think I'm probably going to do 6 to 8 probably. This is probably my 4th or 5th already. So it's a really great opportunity to go out and meet our team, meet our customers, meet our partners, and meet our distributors really across the globe.
and across the globe, beyond your team, your SolarWinds conversations, what do you enjoy more, the sleep or the food?
The food.
The food.
Food. Sleep is very important to me, but the food, it's great to try local culture. I'm a big fan of put it in front of me and I'll try it, right? And we had a great dinner last night. I probably ate 3 or 4 things that I didn't know what it was, and I'd probably eat those again.
So among the places that you're going to travel for the world tour, which is one place you are looking for the food tour for you?
Man, so this is my first time to Istanbul. And so I'm really excited to kind of see the sights a little bit and kind of experience the culture. Some of the other ones been in London again. I'll be in Sydney again, which is great. But this one in Madrid had me the most excited because those were new cities for me.
So from learning Ola to now learning Marhaba, what's next?
Yeah. The lucky thing is in Sydney, they speak English. So that one's pretty easy. I'll be in Amsterdam as well later on this year. But it has been a challenge kind of with all the different languages as well.
One language which all cybersecurity professionals speak is SolarWinds language, right? What is special about the way your technology behaves in different regions?
I think by going out and speaking with all the different customers, even when they speak their own language and we have to translate, it really kind of comes down to the same thing. They have operational challenges that they need to solve. They need to simplify complexity, and now they need to continue to do more with less. It doesn't matter the language. It doesn't matter what you're monitoring. Those are really the key things that anybody using SolarWinds is trying to accomplish. And I love the fact that it's very universal, even though how they go about it is very different based on the culture.
If I'm a network operations manager and I am aware there is something called SW1, am I replaceable with SW1?
So we talk about the difference between, the answer is no, right? We're not here to replace people. We're here to look at how they can optimize or how they can reduce the operational load so they can do more with less. But it's really about moving from actually operating to orchestrating. And when you make that shift, we don't replace people, we just make people more efficient and effective. And that's really how we position and how we truly believe SW1 will have an impact.
I was speaking to one of the customers yesterday and they said that they use SolarWinds to create their annual budgets. They said, if I have to find the value of an existing solution, I use the SolarWinds reports to see what was my consumption last year, what is my consumption this year, and based on that, I create a pattern for the next year and plan for an upgrade of a firewall or any other additional licenses.
Yep.
Is this a use case which you commonly find?
So there's a lot of different aspects to that. So capacity planning, which is essentially the same thing, is a common use case. And we do that across network devices, servers, storage. And we also do it up into the cloud with things like AWS, Azure, and Google, where we're actually looking at consumption information. And so it's something where, when you have that rich set of data, it helps you look into the future and understand, based on the past, where you're headed, to create things like budget, to know when you're going to have to expand capacity, when you're, reaching certain limits. And so I would say it is a fairly common use case and one that really all customers should take advantage of.
Wow. And I think this is the right time for doing that, because with AI, a lot of things are changing, but people do not realize that AI means a lot of consumption as well, whether it's GPU or the vCPUs.
Yeah. It's really interesting, right? A lot of people talk about the cost model. And I think we're in a world where it's still trying to be normalized, right? And you're still trying to understand, is AI helping you become more efficient? And that's why we're being very intentional about how we roll it out. But there is a consumption aspect to it, right? A lot of times when we price this, it's not to make a profit. It's to balance out our costs with the value that we bring to a customer. And I think AI is that next frontier where you're seeing that. You're seeing a lot of different models, and we're still working to kind of fine tune ours in partnership with our customers and our partners so that we deliver the best, or continue to deliver the best price to value ratio.
I enjoyed your keynote yesterday on the World Tour, and the title of that was The Human Side of Autonomous IT.
Yeah.
You've been married to this report for almost a year now, and now it's seeing the light of day.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what's special about this report?
I think the uniqueness of this report is not
Can we
just
show it to
looking.
the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So the uniqueness of this report that we did build and is available on our website is really focusing on not the technology, because we know that that's solid. We know that there's a lot of capabilities there, but how does it impact the day-to-day people, the people that we talk to, the people that we work with, and we really focus on autonomy is going to be there. Things will be able to happen automatically, but how does that impact both the frontline managers, the individual operators, and even the management layers across organizations? And so we were happy to talk to well over 1,000 customers about the impact of autonomous IT on their day-to-day jobs.
And what are some of the most unique findings you found in this report?
I think the biggest thing that we found in this report, and really everyone who responded, there was consensus, is that the role of network and server and monitoring is really changing from an operator to an orchestrator.
Yeah.
And really moving from those that are doing the work to making sure that the work is getting done, right? And whether that's through, agents or other technology, it's really the big shift. I think it was about 80% of all respondents said that they agree that that's kind of the path. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that you really have to focus on the right technology to be able to orchestrate the environment.
One unique thing which I found in this report was everybody thinks AI is everywhere, but there are 37% of the people who thought AI, I don't want to adopt it.
Yeah.
And there was a specific segment which said if it's a small organization, the problem is either with the resources or with the budgets. But for a larger organization, it was mostly bureaucracy, that people were not open to adopt AI.
Yep. It's really interesting where, it's coming. You hear about it all the time in every news feed, on every discussion, everything from people worried that it's going to take over the world, which I don't agree with. I think it's a very powerful thing, to, it's not really worth the value, right? It's an idea, but it's not really worth the value. And I think when we apply this to IT, we do see that. Mid-sized companies seem to be adopting it faster because they can balance out. They have a little bit of money to spend on it, and they can move faster from a bureaucracy standpoint. But I think large companies, most of them are really using it, right? Whether they want to or not, they're finding ways to use it. And I think that'll just get faster. And that's where our AI by design and a lot of our principles come in on how we're building it, so that there's trust, there's transparency, and we really meet all those requirements. And then on the small side, knowing that we have customers that are, hundreds of thousands of nodes all the way down to 10 or 20, maybe 30, is making it cost effective and efficient so they can also get the benefits. And so I think we'll see within our customer base very, very strong adoption because of the approach that we're taking.
One surprising information for me in this report was when the boardroom was asked, are you prepared for AI? They were like 90% sure that yes, we are. When you ask the same question from the AI stakeholders in that organization, they were 20% sure.
Yeah.
Why this discrepancy?
Yeah, I think it's a really great thing to point out, right? And I think that, at the C level, I think it's partly because they have confidence, but they also know they need to be okay with it, right? And so they're saying, we have to have that level of confidence. We have to know that AI is going to happen. But then when we get down to frontline managers and individual contributors, there's still, lack of maybe training, knowledge, understanding how to use it. Things are happening very, very quickly. And I think that's where you get that discrepancy, is that you get the confidence that we need to be ready. And so they portray that and say, yep, we're ready to go. But yet at the field level, it's still like, what does this mean? Is it going to take my job? Is it going to make my job easier or better? And so I think that's a gap that we'll continue to fill. And I think within the next couple of months, we'll see really, really shrink, where I think what'll happen is the front line will come up to where the executives are.
So it's more like fake it till you make it?
I think that's a lot of it. Yep.
You travel a lot. Which are the 3 countries you think AI adoption is the highest right now?
That's a really interesting question, because I was surprised, right? We visited a customer here yesterday, and they were pushing us more on AI than any of our other customers. Something that surprised me a little bit. I would have assumed that, the US would be pushing forward, but I think we work with a lot of bigger customers in the US, and so things tend to be a little bit slower, right? But I think, Turkey was very advanced in a lot of the customers that I've talked to, and then also in the Asia Pacific region. I think where, they tend to have maybe a little bit less staffing, but still trying to get the same things done. And the US has, a tremendous number of people using it, but as far as percent adoption, it's probably a little bit further behind.
I personally believe India is talking about AI and
Yeah.
AI adoption must be the highest over there.
Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately, India is at 45%, US at 51%, and UK at 55%.
Yeah.
And the number was surprising for me.
And I think, listen, let's give it a few months.
Let's
Right?
give it a few
That's
months.
the thing is it's changing so rapidly, right? That the adoption, alters very, very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised, because again, with our world tours that we did in Mumbai, and I believe it was Delhi or Bangalore. It was Bangalore. Yep. The attendance was terrific, as well as the interest, right? One of the biggest things resonating with our customers right now is the impact that AI can have. Not are you doing AI, because everyone is, but it's what are the real impacts that it can drive. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that changes over time very, very quickly and adjusts and balances, based on a number of different factors.
Every report has a target audience. Who is the target audience for this report?
I think it's really our customer base, right? And our prospects. So our customers and our prospects are really any IT organization that is looking at how AI is going to make an impact. Right. And then also to understand the people side of it. So it's really designed for everyone from, an executive level, a C level, whether it's a CIO, all the way down to managers and directors that are dealing with the day-to-day of the expectations of AI, which is a big thing, right? Executives expect when I bring AI in and pay for it, that they're going to be more productive. So it's everything from the executives who want to understand the trends all the way down to the managers who are actually dealing with the day-to-day and on-the-ground realities of AI.
SolarWinds conversations in the boardrooms are driven by ROI. And I think if we start finding the ROI for these 31 pages,
Yep.
the ROI number is going to blow the roof off.
Yep.
So why should somebody not read this report?
I think everybody should, right? It has a nice summary up front, so it can be a pretty quick read. But again, it just gives you context. It gives you understanding, and it's relatively independent. Sure, SolarWinds is the one that did it, but it really tries to not just position our products and our capabilities, but really the challenges that face all of us to make all of us better.
So I'll say the name of a designation, and you need to tell me why they should read this report.
Okay.
Network engineer.
So network engineers are struggling with expectations that AI will make them more efficient. This will help them understand kind of the context of where it will and maybe where it won't.
Database managers.
Database managers, largely the same thing, right? AI in database is helping. Typically, they're understaffed. We see that a lot in the database side of things. And so this will really help them understand some of the potentials where AI can help them, because they are really the do more with less type people.
C-level.
Easy for me, right? We'd love every C-level to read it. But it's really understanding what their organizations are going through, and especially understanding things like the disconnect. Because if they're not aware of the fact that they think they're ready for AI, but their teams don't, right, or aren't ready for AI, that can cause a real problem. So I think it really will shine some light in areas where they might not be expecting.
Sales rep in a partner.
That helps with bringing context to customers, right? Just like sales reps internally with SolarWinds, what this allows a partner sales rep to do is bring context and not just talk about products or not just talk about, the different things that we sell, but really have a conversation about how they can improve.
Pre-sales in the partner.
That's the more technical side of understanding, okay, what are some of the challenges? What are some of the expectations? How do I frame the value? And I think really on the technical side is, how do I then convey to a customer that their job's not going to be replaced? We're just going to look for ways to optimize or make them better.
A non-IT person.
It's fun. Who doesn't want to talk about AI?
A student.
Learning. Right? Constant learning, right? That's when I was a student, I would try to consume as much information as possible. And right now, I think there's a real challenge in the job market, partly created by the concepts of AI. And so the more you learn about it, the more you understand it. And I think this does a really good job of painting the landscape of AI in IT. It's terrific for students to be able to kind of learn, what companies are experiencing.
I'll go a little off track. Policymakers for the nation.
Yeah. Isn't policy around AI interesting?
Yeah.
It's You have everything from people that are trying to prevent it because of the unknown, to those that need to embrace it. And I think, again, this just gives you background and understanding about the different areas they need to regulate, right?
Yeah.
Because AI and IT is kind of an area they need to focus on, because if you regulate such to the point where you don't allow AI, you're going to be missing. And so I think it's good. Again, it's just good knowledge. It's good context. It's rich information. And as a continual learner, it's really fun to read. It's a good read.
Do you think AI adoption is all about tools or about frameworks?
I think tools support frameworks, but it's all about frameworks. I think it's all about how you conceptualize where you use it, and almost more importantly, where you don't use it. It's not perfect everywhere, but once you understand its capabilities and you build a framework to be able to support those capabilities, you can really do some amazing things.
Last GITEX, a popular word on everyone's mind was guardrails. What are the AI guardrails?
So, that's really, there's a couple of things in my mind, right? And we have these AI by design principles that really build guardrails in, really around what it is and isn't allowed to do, the information that it can access, how it shares that information, how it uses that information, but then also the level of autonomy. And one of the things that we're building into our product is that ability to be safer, balanced, or more autonomous, right?
Yeah.
We showed it yesterday during the demo. I'm more on the autonomous side. I would love it to just kind of do the stuff for me. But we understand that everybody's at a different spot. So we have these guardrails natively built in really from the ground up so that it doesn't do things that it's not supposed to. And I think that's a really, really important aspect when you're implementing AI within any organization, is to focus on those guardrails to make sure that it's successful and that it doesn't get taken away because of risk factors.
You and me are having this conversation at the SolarWinds World Tour in Istanbul. Do you think the world needs more conversations like this?
Listen, I would love to have this conversation on a weekly basis, right? Absolutely. It really just helps, take different perspectives and get different ideas. And so I think the more conversations about this, it's a terrific topic, the better.
You and me are having this conversation on the SolarWinds World Tour in Istanbul, and the World Tour is traveling everywhere. What is special about the World Tour in the SolarWinds calendar?
Again, I think it's, it allows us to more deeply connect with our customers, our partners, and our distributors, which is really important. It's the way that we understand the challenges that we then feed back into our product teams so that they can develop solutions to those challenges. It also allows us to get in front of more and more customers than we normally would, and also have a social aspect to it, to really build those human relationships, right? We talk about the human side of autonomous IT, but what we learn as we do these is that the human side of relationships is important. Webinars are great, video conferences are great, but there's nothing like sitting across the table from somebody, sharing food and conversation. It really deepens those relationships, which then translate into better outcomes for our customers.
Wow. I was thinking we'll speak about SolarWinds 1. I was thinking we'll speak about a couple of new use cases, and we're talking about the human side in the AI conversation. Such an interesting report, but how can I get this report?
So this report's available from our website. You can go to our website to find it. You can also search in Google for SolarWinds IT Trends Report 2026, and you'll find it.
Perfect. So now you know where to find this interesting report. So please go ahead, search for this report. Just go and type in the human side of autonomous IT. Just type in Eric Bauer and Simply Pankaj to find this interesting podcast conversation, which we are bringing live to you from the World Tour Conversation brought to you by SolarWinds. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, do let me know in the comments, which is one question I missed to ask from Eric. And let's see if he can answer that for us.